Welcome to our channel. Today, we are embarking on a slow and soothing journey through the most breathtaking corners of an ancient continent, Australia. The glowing sands of the red centre, the emerald coolness of the ancient Daintree Forest, the turquoise rhythms of the coral sea, the majesty of the Southern Ocean, and an endless starry sky await us. This story was created specifically to help you relieve tension after a long day, find inner harmony, and gently drift into a deep, healing sleep. If our stories help you relax, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share this video with those who are also seeking tranquility. Your support is incredibly important and inspires us to create new journeys. And now, make yourself as comfortable as possible. Take a deep, calm breath in. Slowly exhale. Close your eyes. Allow the magic of Australian nature to envelop you. Carry away all your worries, and open the path to a peaceful, untroubled sleep. In the fading twilight, the desert life begins to shift, and you might see the tiny, prehistoric form of a thorny devil moving with jerky, deliberate steps across a dune, its skin a perfect mimic of the textured earth, or hear the distant, mournful cry of a dingo echoing across the scrub, a sound that feels as old as the stars themselves and as lonely as the wind. The world is narrowing now, the vast horizons dissolving into the soft intimacy of the campfire's glow or the pale shimmer of the moon rising over the desert oaks. And as the scent of burning mulga drifts through the air, sweet and earthy, you feel the final tensions of the day dissolving into the shadows that dance across the sand. This is the heart of Australia, a place of absolute stillness and terrifying beauty, where the land does not belong to people, but people belong to the land. And in this belonging, there is a safety and a certainty that allows the spirit to drift, unburdened, into the waiting arms of the night. As the Southern Cross begins to climb the sky, marking the path of the celestial river, you close your eyes and let the rhythmic breathing of the desert guide you toward a deeper state of rest, knowing that the ancient rock will stand guard over your dreams just as it has for the ancestors. And as the temperature drops and the stars become a ceiling of diamonds, the crimson heart of the continent beats in slow, steady thuds that match the rhythm of your own heart. The journey has only just begun, yet here in the center of the world, you have found the point of stillness around which everything else turns. And as you surrender to the velvet dark, the whispers of the dreaming carry you across the threshold of sleep, into a landscape where time has no meaning and the spirit is finally, completely home. Part 1. The Crimson Heart of the Continent. The journey begins where time itself seems to have paused, resting its heavy head upon the crimson dust of a continent that has breathed for hundreds of millions of years, long before the mountains of Europe rose or the great forests of the north took root. And here, in the vast silence of the Great Southland, the air carries a weight of memory that transcends our human understanding of history. You feel the ground beneath you, not as a cold stone but as a living, vibrating presence, a surface worn smooth by the winds of eons, where every grain of sand tells a story of an ancient sea that once rippled where the desert now dreams. And as the golden light of the afternoon begins to soften, the landscape transforms into a canvas of ochre, violet, and deep, burnt orange. There is no rush in this place, for the desert does not recognize the ticking of a clock, and as you walk slowly across the rusted plains, your footsteps are cushioned by the fine, silken powder of the earth, a soil so rich in iron and history that it seems to glow with its own internal embers. As we move deeper into the heart of the Northern Territory, the horizon stretches out in an infinite circle, a perfect line where the burning azure of the sky meets the rusted earth, and you find yourself walking slowly through the spinifex grass, hearing the dry, rhythmic rustle of the wind as it whispers through the silver-leaved ghost gums. Those pale, skeletal guardians of the desert that stand so still against the heat. The air is dry and scented with the faint, medicinal tang of eucalyptus and the parched breath of stones that have baked in the sun for 1,000 days. And yet, there is a profound coolness beginning to rise from the shadows of the dunes, a gentle invitation to slow your breath and match the slow, tectonic pulse of the land itself. Everything here is intentional, from the way the hardy desert oak needles point toward the sky to capture the vanishing moisture, to the patient stillness of the parenti lizard, frozen like a statue upon a weathered ridge, watching the light change with eyes that have seen the passing of countless seasons. Before you, the great monolith of Uluru rises from the flat expanse like the spine of a sleeping giant, its massive curves and deep fissures carved by the patient hands of water and wind over 500 million years. And as you approach, the sheer scale of the rock begins to settle in your chest, a monumental presence that demands a quiet, respectful heart. The surface of the stone is not smooth, as it appears from a distance, but is instead a complex tapestry of honeycomb textures, deep caves, and long, vertical streaks where the rare desert rains have tumbled down in silver waterfalls. And in the softening light, the iron within the Arcos sandstone begins to oxidize, turning the entire mountain into a radiant, glowing coal that pulses with a deep, subterranean energy. You can almost hear the hum of the earth here, a low-frequency vibration that resonates in your bones, reminding you that this monolith is not merely a landmark, but the physical manifestation of a creation story that began in the dreaming, a time when the world was sung into existence by the ancestors. The dreaming is not a past event, but a continuous, flowing reality that exists beneath the surface of the visible world. It is the spirit of the kangaroo, the snake, and the emu, carved into the very folds of the rock and whispered by the elders through 60,000 years of continuous culture. And as you sit in the shadow of a weathered overhang, you can feel the weight of these stories, reaching out from the dark recesses of the caves where ochre paintings still guard the secrets of the first people. There is a profound sense of continuity here, a realization that the thread of human experience in this desert has never been broken, and that the same stars that watch over you tonight have guided the feet of hunters and storytellers for 2,000 generations. And this knowledge brings a deep, grounding peace, a feeling of being a small but cherished part of a vast, eternal tapestry that spans the breadth of time itself. The wind begins to pick up as the sun dips lower, carrying with it the cooling breath of the coming night, and it weaves through the gaps of Kata Chuta, the nearby cluster of 36 domed rocks that stand like huddled elders whispering in the twilight. And as the air moves through the Valley of the Winds, it creates a haunting, flute-like melody that echoes against the conglomerate stone. You find a place to rest among the weathered boulders, feeling the warmth of the day still radiating from the rocks into your back, a gentle heat that contrasts with the sharpening chill of the desert air. And as the sky above turns a deep, bruised indigo, the first stars begin to pierce through the thinning atmosphere, flickering with a brilliance that is only possible in a place so far removed from the lights of the modern world. The silence of the desert is not an absence of sound, but a presence of its own, a thick, velvet layer of quiet that wraps around you like a heavy blanket, inviting your mind to release its burdens and sink into the stillness of the red sand. We leave the endless crimson horizon of the desert behind, drifting slowly toward the northeastern edge of the continent, where the dry heat of the ancient stone softens into a heavy warmth that carries the scent of crushed leaves and damp earth. And here, spreading along the coastline like a vast ocean of green, lies the Daintree, a forest so remarkably old that it was ancient when the first dinosaurs walked the earth. The air is no longer a crisp wind, but a thick, velvety blanket that wraps gently around your shoulders, carrying the perfume of blooming orchids and the earthy musk of decaying wood. As you step beneath the towering canopy, the glaring sunlight is filtered into a soft twilight, casting peaceful shadows across the forest floor, offering a shadowy refuge from the intense tropical day. The trees surrounding you are monumental pillars holding up the heavy sky, their roots forming massive buttresses that grip the moss-covered soil like ancient fingers that have held this earth together for countless millennia. And winding around their silent trunks are woody vines that spiral upward toward the hidden sun, creating an architecture that has remained unchanged for over 100 million years. You walk along a quiet path, your footsteps softened by a thick carpet of fallen leaves, while massive king ferns unroll their curled fronds like the heads of sleeping dragons, reaching out to catch the scarce light. There's a profound slowness to the movement here, a deliberate rhythm that governs the slow drip of moisture from the high branches, reminding you that nature possesses its own grounding concept of time, requiring absolutely nothing from you but to observe and breathe. A gentle rustling begins high above your head in the tallest tier of the canopy, a sound that starts as a soft whisper and gradually swells into a steady, comforting murmur. And within moments, a warm tropical rain begins to fall, tracing slow paths down the waxy surfaces of the broad leaves and creating a soothing, percussive melody that softly echoes through the woods. The rain does not feel like a disruption, but rather is slow, cleansing breath, washing away the invisible dust of the modern world and leaving the forest glowing with a renewed intensity. As you stand beneath the protective umbrella of a massive fan palm, you close your eyes, letting the repetitive drumming of the water calm your restless thoughts, feeling the air become incredibly fresh, infused with the clean scent of wet soil, as your breathing perfectly synchronizes with the slow exhalation of the living forest. Through the delicate veil of the falling rain, a sudden movement gently catches your eye, a majestic shifting of the deep emerald shadows, and a magnificent cassowary emerges from the tangled undergrowth, its glossy black feathers blending seamlessly with the dark forest, while the luminous blue of its neck and the tall casque upon its head mark it as a true monarch of this prehistoric realm. The bird moves with breathtaking grace, its heavy feet navigating the damp earth without making a single sound, presenting the image of a living dinosaur that has peacefully wandered these shaded pathways since the continent broke away from Gondwana. Watching this solitary creature fade slowly back into the gloom, you are struck by a humbling sense of quiet privilege, a joy in knowing that such wild places still exist, offering sanctuary to beings that ask for nothing more than absolute silence. Following the subtle slope of the land, you arrive at the soft banks of a slow-moving river, its quiet waters a deep black, naturally stained with the rich tannins of fallen leaves to resemble a vast mirror of dark tea, and upon its glassy surface, the reflection of the green canopy is so perfect that the water seems to hold an entire inverted world within its depths. The river flows with a quiet, unstoppable purpose, carrying the gathered memory of the distant mountains down toward the waiting coast, sliding peacefully past tangled mangrove roots that dip gently into the current like the long hair of water spirits resting in the shallows. You sit by the edge of the dark water, watching a vibrant blue butterfly flutter erratically over the current, its delicate wings flashing like tiny sapphires against the gloom, a fragile spark of color dancing in tune with the heartbeat of the river. As you follow the dark river toward its ultimate end, the wall of ancient trees suddenly parts, and you step gently out onto a sweeping crescent of pristine white sand, where the heavy silence of the deep forest finally meets the rhythmic breathing of the wide, open sea. This quiet stretch of coastline is known as Cape Tribulation, a magical junction where two extraordinary worlds silently collide. The deep shadows of the oldest rainforest on Earth sloping down to gently touch the warm, turquoise shallows of the vast coral sea, separated only by a narrow ribbon of sun-warmed beach. The transition between the trees and the water is profoundly peaceful, a harmonious blending of earth and ocean, where the fresh, salty breeze of the rolling sea sweeps gently up the shoreline to seamlessly mingle with the heavy air of the deep jungle, creating a restorative balance that settles deeply into your chest. The rich light begins to softly fade, turning the vast sky above the endless ocean into a soft wash of pale lavender and bruised pink, while the great forest behind you slowly retreats into darkness, preparing itself for the hidden mysteries of the nocturnal world. And as the first silver stars begin to appear over the gentle waves, you find a comfortable place to rest upon the soft sand, feeling the lingering warmth of the long day still radiating perfectly against your tired skin. The slow sound of the ocean becomes a deep lullaby, the gentle rush of warm water sliding smoothly up the soft beach and pulling softly back again into the dark, a hypnotic rhythm that promises total safety and profound rest. Wrapped completely in the soft embrace of the tropical night, you allow the deep breathing of the ancient earth to slowly guide you down into a state of total tranquility, drifting effortlessly into the healing waters of sleep. Part 3. The turquoise rhythms of the coral sea. We step slowly away from the pristine white sands of the tropical coast, allowing the warm, crystalline waters of the coral sea to gently wash over our feet, inviting us into a magnificent realm where the heavy laws of gravity seem to quietly dissolve. As you wade deeper, the ocean embraces you with a temperature so perfectly aligned with your own body that the physical boundary between your skin and the water begins to beautifully blur, leaving you with a profound sense of weightlessness and total freedom. You slip gracefully beneath the surface, and immediately, the chaotic sounds of the world above are replaced by the deep, rhythmic, and incredibly soothing acoustic hum of the ocean, a gentle crackling of marine life and the slow, steady rush of water moving harmoniously with tides. Beneath the softly rippling surface, a breathtaking architecture unfolds in glorious slow motion, revealing sprawling underwater gardens built over thousands of years by billions of tiny, patient architects. You drift effortlessly over massive, grooved-brained corals that resemble ancient sunken monuments, and delicate, branching staghorn corals that reach toward the filtered sunlight like the intricate fingers of a pale, submerged forest. The sunlight pierces the water from above in thick, radiant beams of gold, dancing across the vibrant topography and illuminating patches of soft corals that sway back and forth in the gentle current, moving with the hypnotic, synchronized grace of a slow, eternal waltz. Moving closer to a vibrant coral bommy, your eyes slowly adjust to the astonishing scale of life that thrives within this miniature, bustling metropolis, where every crevice and shadow holds a quiet miracle of evolution. You watch a symbiotic dance unfold as a pair of brightly painted clownfish nestle deep within the swaying, venomous tentacles of a sea anemone, finding absolute safety and comfort in a place that is perilous to others. Schools of tiny, iridescent blue damselfish dart in and out of the branching corals like a sudden shower of sapphire sparks, their movements incredibly quick yet perfectly organized, driven by an ancient instinct that flows in complete harmony with the silent music of the reef. Out of the dappled, turquoise distance, a gentle giant slowly materializes from the blue mist, moving with a deliberate, peaceful grace that instantly commands a deep, quiet reverence in your heart. A majestic green sea turtle glides effortlessly through the water, its large, beautifully patterned shell catching the broken sunlight as it uses its long flippers to paddle with slow, wing-like strokes, appearing more like a bird flying through a liquid sky than a creature of the sea. You float silently, suspended in the gentle current, watching as the ancient mariner approaches a shallow resting spot, its dark, wise eyes perfectly calm and completely unbothered by your presence, offering a silent reminder of the profound peace that comes with simply being. As you allow the gentle current to drift you slightly toward the outer edge of the reef drop-off, the bright, shallow turquoise suddenly gives way to a profound, velvety navy blue, a sudden expanse of open water that feels simultaneously humbling and deeply calming. Emerging gracefully from this vast blue infinity, a massive manta ray flies silently into view, its impressive wingspan cutting through the water with effortless, aerodynamic perfection, performing a slow, acrobatic ballet in the deep water. The sheer elegance of the creature is mesmerizing, a masterclass in fluidity and surrender to the ocean's flow, and watching its dark silhouette glide smoothly into the abyss leaves you with a lingering sense of awe and a quiet, expanding stillness within your own mind. Eventually, you softly break the surface, rolling gently onto your back to float effortlessly on the calm, undulating swells, completely supported by the buoyant, salty embrace of the coral sea. Looking up, you are greeted by an expansive, cloudless azure sky that feels infinitely wide, while below you, the sprawling, submerged shelf of the Great Barrier Reef stretches out for thousands of miles, a hidden world of vibrant life pulsing quietly beneath your floating form. With your ears submerged, the sound of your own slow, rhythmic breathing harmonizes perfectly with the deep, muffled heartbeat of the ocean, creating a deeply meditative state where all anxieties dissolve into the vast, watery expanse, leaving nothing but absolute presence. As the afternoon gracefully matures into early evening, the intense tropical sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon, painting the surface of the water with spectacular, shifting strokes of liquid gold, burnt orange, and deep magenta. The marine world begins its quiet transition. The bright daytime fish retreat to the safety of the coral crevices, while the shadows lengthen beneath the waves, signaling the arrival of the ocean's gentle, restorative night. Wrapped securely in the cooling twilight and the rhythmic, rocking motion of the sea, you feel your consciousness begin to drift, carried away on a gentle, outgoing tide of deep relaxation, sinking peacefully into the tranquil, healing waters of a perfect, undisturbed sleep. We leave the warm, weightless embrace of the tropical waters and travel to the very edge of the continent, where the land abruptly meets the raw, unbridled power of the Southern Ocean. This is the Great Ocean Road, a winding ribbon of asphalt that hugs the dramatic, weather-beaten coastline of Victoria, offering a journey not just through space, but through the immense, patient scale of geological time. The air here is completely different, crisp, invigorating, and heavily laden with the sharp, clean scent of crushed eucalyptus leaves mingling with the salty, iodine tang of the wild sea. As you stand upon the elevated precipice, looking out over the vast expanse of dark, churning water that stretches uninterrupted all the way to the icy shores of Antarctica, you feel a sudden, refreshing rush of cool wind sweeping away the lingering warmth of the north, leaving your mind clear and your senses sharply awake to the magnificent desolation of the southern coast. Below you, the sheer limestone cliffs drop vertically into the roaring surf, revealing millions of years of the Earth's history neatly stacked in horizontal bands of pale golden rock, worn smooth by the relentless, rhythmic battering of the sea. The Southern Ocean does not merely lap at the shore. It breathes with a deep, heavy power, gathering massive swells of emerald water that rise gracefully before collapsing into brilliant white foam against the ancient stone walls. The sound is a constant, low-frequency rumble, a deeply grounding vibration that you can feel resonating in the very marrow of your bones, a steady, hypnotic booming that perfectly mimics the slow, powerful heartbeat of the earth itself. There is no urgency in this eternal collision of water and rock, only a continuous, beautifully destructive dance that has shaped this jagged coastline for millennia, reminding you that all things are in a constant state of slow, magnificent transformation. You follow a quiet, winding wooden boardwalk that meanders through the low, wind-sculpted coastal heathland, your footsteps echoing softly against the sturdy timber as you navigate the rugged terrain. The hardy coastal bushes, bent permanently inland by the prevailing winds, form a resilient green carpet over the sandy soil, sheltering tiny, hidden birds whose delicate, fleeting songs provide a sweet counterpoint to the roaring bass of the ocean below. The atmosphere is filled with a fine, cooling mist thrown up by the crashing waves, creating a soft, hazy veil that diffuses the afternoon light and lends an ethereal, dreamlike quality to the dramatic landscape. With every breath of this pure, moisture-heavy air, you feel the deeply ingrained tensions of your daily life beginning to loosen and dissolve, washed away by the sheer magnitude and untamed beauty of the coastal wilderness. Then, as the path curves gently around a prominent headland, the magnificent vista of the 12 Apostles finally reveals itself, a breathtaking assembly of colossal limestone pillars rising defiantly from the churning surf like ancient, solitary guardians of the coast. These towering monoliths, some standing nearly 50 meters high, are the enduring remnants of the mainland cliff, isolated by the patient, carving hands of the wind and water over 20 million years. Bathed in the soft, angled light of the late afternoon, the rough, textured surfaces of the rock stacks glow with radiant shades of warm ochre, soft mustard, and burnt orange, standing in striking, cinematic contrast against the deep, bruised blues and vibrant aquamarines of the restless ocean. You find a quiet spot along the viewing platform, leaning gently against the sturdy wooden railing, utterly mesmerized by the sheer scale and stoic beauty of these monumental stones facing the endless sea. As you watch the mesmerizing interplay of light and water, you become deeply attuned to the rhythmic, sweeping motion of the waves wrapping around the bases of the giant pillars, creating delicate, lace-like patterns of white foam that expand and dissolve with every surging tide. The water draws back with a powerful, sighing sound, dragging thousands of smooth pebbles across the hidden shoreline, a rushing, percussive hiss that sweeps the mind clean of all lingering anxieties. In the presence of such colossal natural architecture, the scale of human worries suddenly feels delightfully small and insignificant, offering a profound sense of psychological relief and a quiet, comforting permission to simply exist in the present moment. You realize that just as the ocean slowly rounds the hard edges of the fallen stones, the gentle passage of time will eventually smooth the sharp edges of your own heavy burdens, leaving behind only profound peace. The sun begins its final, dramatic descent toward the sharply defined horizon, transforming the expansive sky into a breathtaking canvas of fiery crimson, soft lavender, and deep, majestic violet. The shadows cast by the giant limestone apostles grow incredibly long, stretching like dark, reaching fingers across the shifting surface of the glowing, metallic water, while the ocean mist catches the dying light, turning the air itself into a luminous, golden fog. The temperature begins to drop noticeably, bringing a crisp, clean chill to the coastal breeze that prompts you to pull your jacket a little tighter around your shoulders, savoring the comforting warmth of your own body against the cooling evening. This glorious, fiery transition from day to night feels incredibly ceremonial, a daily masterpiece painted across the heavens that invites you to safely release the events of the waking hours and prepare your tired mind for absolute rest. Finally, the last embers of the sunset burn out, yielding the vast southern sky to a thick, velvet darkness that is quickly pierced by the cold, brilliant light of a million distant stars. The visual world fades away, leaving only the dark silhouettes of the great stone pillars standing watch over the coastline, while the auditory world takes over, dominated completely by the deep, rhythmic, lullaby-like roaring of the invisible ocean below. You close your eyes, letting the heavy, consistent bass of the crashing waves anchor your drifting thoughts, feeling the cool, salty night air gently brushing against your face like a soothing benediction. Wrapped securely in the enduring strength of the ancient cliffs and lulled by the eternal, rocking motion of the great southern sea, you allow yourself to sink deeply. We cross the turbulent waters of the Bay Strait, leaving the vast Australian mainland behind to set foot upon an isolated island at the very edge of the habitable world, Tasmania. The moment you step into this untamed wilderness, the first thing you notice is the profound quality of the air. It is incredibly crisp, sharply cold, and arguably the cleanest atmosphere on Earth, swept across thousands of miles of unbroken ocean directly from the ice shelves of Antarctica. Breathing it in feels like drinking clear, ice-cold spring water, a deeply purifying sensation that instantly clears the mind of all lingering fog and awakens a quiet, grounded energy within your chest. The landscape around you is not the sun-baked red desert or the steamy tropical jungle of the north, but a moody, mysterious expanse of deep emerald greens, shadowy grays, and the muted browns of an ancient, sleeping earth. You step slowly into the cool, shadowy embrace of a dense temperate rainforest, a magical, hushed sanctuary that looks precisely as the world did when the great supercontinent of Gondwana was still whole. Towering myrtle beech trees and ancient Huon pines reach toward the pale, filtered light, their massive, twisting trunks and sprawling branches draped completely in thick, glowing layers of velvet green moss and delicate, trailing lichens. The silence here is entirely different from the vast quiet of the outback. It is a heavy, insulated stillness, where the dense carpet of moss and the thick canopy absorb every sound, creating an acoustic cocoon that softens your footsteps and makes even your breath seem loud. Walking through this ancient, living cathedral, you feel an overwhelming sense of reverence, a humbling realization that some of the trees standing quietly around you have been growing in this exact spot for over 2,000 years. The winding trail beneath your boots is soft and springy, built upon centuries of fallen leaves and decaying wood that release a rich, sweet, and earthy perfume into the damp air, a complex scent mingled with the subtle, honeyed fragrance of rare leatherwood blossoms hidden somewhere in the canopy above. A delicate, silvery mist weaves slowly through the dark tree trunks, appearing like quiet forest spirits caught in the dappled light, wrapping the landscape in a soft, ethereal veil that blurs the edges of the visible world. As you navigate the twisting path, you pause to listen to the gentle, musical trickling of a hidden, crystal-clear stream cutting its way through the mossy rocks. The pure, unhurried sound of water flowing naturally down toward the valleys, washing away any remaining tension stored in your muscles. As the dense, dark forest begins to slowly part, the rugged landscape opens up to reveal a breathtaking glacial valley, dominated entirely by the majestic, jagged dolerite peaks of Cradle Mountain rising sharply into the cool alpine sky. Nestled perfectly at the base of this ancient, weathered mountain lies Dove Lake, a pristine body of water so incredibly dark, still, and glassy that it serves as a flawless, vast mirror for the sky and the towering stones above. You walk softly down to the rocky shoreline, finding a comfortable place to sit on a smooth, weathered boulder, and simply watch the perfect symmetry of the world reflected in the tranquil, icy water, feeling as though you are suspended between two identical heavens. The sheer scale of the silent mountain and the motionless lake commands a deep, meditative stillness, gently forcing your racing thoughts to slow down and match the eternal, unmoving patience of the stone. In the quiet, alpine brush just a few feet away from where you sit, a gentle, rhythmic rustling draws your attention to the soft undergrowth, where a small, rounded Tasmanian pademelon emerges tentatively from the shadows. The gentle marsupial pauses, its dark, expressive eyes looking toward you with mild curiosity before it calmly returns to foraging among the damp ferns, completely unafraid and accepting of your quiet presence in its ancient home. Watching this small, peaceful creature go about its evening routine brings a profound sense of harmony and belonging. You are not an intruder in this wild place, but simply a silent observer welcomed into the slow, daily rhythm of the forest. The gentle rustle of leaves and the soft, rhythmic chewing become a soothing, repetitive mantra that anchors your mind entirely in the simple, beautiful reality of the present moment. The pale afternoon light begins to slowly wane, casting a soft, bruised hue of deep violet, mauve, and cool pink across the jagged peaks of the mountain, while the dark waters of the lake swallow the fading colors, turning into an abyss of deep, twilight indigo. The temperature drops noticeably as the sun slips behind the heavy horizon, prompting you to pull your warm layers tightly around your body, savoring the deeply comforting feeling of being incredibly warm and safe while surrounded by the crisp, biting cold of the alpine evening. A heavy, peaceful dusk settles over the valley, silencing the day's subtle noises and wrapping the entire landscape in a thick, protective blanket of twilight, preparing the ancient forest and the sleeping mountain for the deep, restorative quiet of the coming night. As the absolute darkness of the Tasmanian wilderness finally takes hold, the sky above the mountain transforms into a breathtaking, sprawling canopy of brilliant, diamond-like stars, untainted by any artificial light from the modern world. In the far southern horizon, a faint, ghostly shimmer of green and pale pink begins to dance slowly across the sky. The aurora australis, a silent, celestial lullaby moving in perfect harmony with the slow rotation of the earth. Lulled by the freezing, pure air, the profound silence of the ancient trees, and the dark, unmoving presence of the mountain, you feel your consciousness becoming as still and heavy as the glassy lake below. Surrendering completely to the deep, protective isolation of this island at the edge of the world, you drift effortlessly down into the darkest, most peaceful sleep, held safely in the timeless quiet of the Tasmanian night. We leave behind the dense, shadowy forests of the island and return to the sun-drenched mainland, turning our journey westward toward a landscape defined by its breathtaking emptiness. This is the Nullarbor Plain, a vast, ancient seabed of limestone that stretches endlessly across the southern edge of the continent, earning its name from the Latin words for no trees. As you venture into this monumental expanse, the familiar landmarks of the natural world slowly fall away, leaving only the sheer, uninterrupted scale of the flat, golden earth spreading out in every conceivable direction. The magnitude of this open space is initially overwhelming, but it quickly transforms into a profound, liberating sensation, as if the physical boundaries of your own mind are quietly expanding to match the endless width of the desert. The horizon here is an absolute marvel, a flawlessly straight line drawn with geometric perfection spanning a full 360 degrees, separating the parched earth from a sky that feels infinitely larger and heavier than anywhere else in the world. The ground is carpeted not with grass, but with hardy, low-lying bluebush and saltbush, their thick, silver-green leaves perfectly adapted to survive on the sparse moisture carried by the wind. Walking slowly across this powdery, sun-baked soil, you realize that there is nothing to block your vision or cast a shadow. The world is stripped back to its most essential, minimalist elements, demanding nothing of your attention, but offering a vast, empty canvas upon which your tired thoughts can safely dissolve. Following the subtle, imperceptible slope of the plains toward the southern edge, the earth suddenly and dramatically gives way, revealing the magnificent, sheer precipice of the Bunda Cliffs. Here, the endless flat desert abruptly ends in towering walls of pale white and gray limestone, dropping vertically into the churning, deeply bruised waters of the Great Australian Bight. Standing safely back from the immense edge, you can feel the powerful, rhythmic updraft of the ocean wind rushing up the face of the cliff, carrying the sharp, invigorating scent of salt spray that beautifully cuts through the dry heat of the plain. The stark, breathtaking contrast between the motionless, golden eternity of the desert behind you and the violent, restless energy of the dark ocean below grounds you deeply in the extraordinary power of the present moment. Moving back into the quiet heart of the plain, the heat haze creates a shimmering, liquid illusion across the distance, where the subtle movements of the desert wildlife begin to slowly reveal themselves. A small mob of red kangaroos appears on the distant horizon, moving with a fluid, effortless grace, their long bounds completely silent across the soft dust, appearing like ghostly silhouettes suspended in the vibrating air. High above the baked earth, a solitary wedge-tailed eagle catches a rising thermal, its massive, dark wings held perfectly still as it spirals higher and higher into the pale azure dome, a master of the invisible currents. Watching the eagle's incredibly slow, majestic flight induces a state of deep, hypnotic calm, reminding you that there is no need to struggle against the currents of life when you can simply open your wings and let the atmosphere carry you. As the late afternoon approaches, the fierce intensity of the sun softens, and the Nullarbor begins its glorious, daily transformation during the golden hour, arguably the most beautiful time in the desert. The pale, bleached dust ignites with a warm, radiant honeygold color, while the tiny, scattered salt bushes cast impossibly long, deeply textured shadows that stretch across the flat ground like the dark hands of a sundial marking the slow passage of geological time. The wind completely dies down, and a heavy, absolute silence settles over the plain, a quiet so profound and pure that you can almost hear the soft, rhythmic pulse of your own heartbeat. In this vast, silent emptiness, the constant, chaotic noise of modern life is entirely erased, leaving behind a tranquil void that eagerly absorbs your stress and replaces it with a deeply comforting stillness. The sunset on the Nullarbor is a magnificent, all-encompassing event. Without mountains or trees to obscure the view, the sun dips below the perfectly flat horizon like a glowing, molten coin sliding smoothly into a dark slot. As the light retreats, the massive dome of the sky explodes into an incredible gradient of colors, transitioning seamlessly from burning peach and bright tangerine at the rim of the earth to deep, bruised violet and velvety indigo at the zenith. You sit quietly on the warm, dry earth, entirely captivated by the slow, cinematic fading of the light, feeling the lingering warmth of the day radiating gently upward into your body. This grand, silent spectacle feels like a personal, intimate reward for the day's journey, an invitation to finally let go of all responsibilities and softly prepare your mind for the welcoming embrace of the night. When the darkness finally claims the plain, the absence of any artificial light reveals a night sky of staggering, almost frightening clarity and depth, stretching in a complete, unbroken dome from horizon to horizon. The Milky Way arches directly overhead, a brilliant, glowing river of ancient stardust so thick and luminous that it actually casts faint, soft shadows across the pale desert floor. Lying back against the cooling earth, You feel incredibly small beneath the vast, glittering cosmos, yet simultaneously connected to everything, safely anchored to the surface of this quiet, spinning planet traveling through the dark. Immersed in the profound, comforting solitude of the Nullarbor night, your breathing slows to match the eternal stillness of the flat earth, and you effortlessly drift away into a deep, vast, and completely undisturbed sleep. We bring our grand Australian journey to its final resting place, leaving the vast, flat emptiness of the plains behind and rising into the rugged, ancient embrace of the Blue Mountains. As you ascend into this magnificent high country, the air grows noticeably cooler and sweeter, deeply saturated with the incredibly rich, medicinal fragrance of countless millions of eucalyptus trees that blanket the deep valleys below. It is late afternoon, and the legendary blue haze, a fine, natural mist of eucalyptus oil suspended in the warm air and scattering the sunlight, begins to thicken, wrapping the distant, jagged ridges in a soft, ethereal blanket of azure and deep indigo. The immense scale of this crumpled, forested landscape feels both humbling and deeply protective, as if the ancient earth itself has opened its rocky arms to offer you a quiet, elevated sanctuary far removed from the rushing noise of the world below. Standing gently near the edge of a sheer sandstone cliff, you gaze out across the breathtaking expanse of the Jameson Valley, a vast, prehistoric basin that seems to plunge endlessly down into a sea of dark, whispering green. To your left, the majestic Three Sisters rise proudly from the valley floor, three colossal, weathered pillars of golden sandstone glowing with the last, radiant embers of the setting sun. These ancient rock formations, sculpted by millions of years of wind and water, stand as silent, steadfast guardians of the mountain, their rough, textured faces completely peaceful in the fading light. As you watch the shadows slowly creep up from the bottom of the deep gorge, swallowing the forest in a rising tide of twilight, you feel the heavy burdens of the day slipping effortlessly off your shoulders, falling away into the vast, waiting depths of the valley. You follow a narrow, winding path cut directly into the ancient sandstone, your footsteps moving slowly and deliberately along the quiet cliff edge, guided by the sturdy, comforting presence of the rock wall beside you. The air here is incredibly fresh and vital, carrying the subtle, damp scent of rich mountain soil and ferns, mingling perfectly with the crisp, cooling breath of the approaching night. From somewhere deep within the darkening gorge, you hear the distant, continuous roar of a hidden waterfall tumbling over a rocky precipice, a soft, white noise that echoes gently against the stone amphitheater. This deep, aquatic rumble provides a constant, soothing acoustic bassline to the evening, a hypnotic rhythm that washes through your mind, dissolving any remaining tension and replacing it with the pure, continuous flow of falling water. Finding a smooth, flat ledge of naturally weathered stone that still holds a comforting trace of the afternoon solar heat, you sit down and comfortably wrap your warm layers around you to face the eastern horizon. The transition from day to night in the mountains is profoundly gentle. The golden light surrenders to a wash of soft lavender and bruised purple, while the famous blue haze transforms into a thick, velvety darkness that completely fills the valley floor. There is no wind, only a heavy, expectant stillness that settles over the canopy, a deep, collective exhale from the ancient forest as it prepares to rest after the long, sunlit day. You close your eyes for a moment, simply feeling the solid, unshakable weight of the mountain beneath you, letting its millions of years of quiet stability anchor your own drifting, weary spirit. When you open your eyes again, the sky has been completely swept clean of daylight, revealing a breathtaking, sweeping canopy of brilliant, diamond-hard stars that seem impossibly close in the thin, unpolluted mountain air. Right above the dark, jagged silhouette of the eastern ridges, the iconic constellation of the Southern Cross begins to rise, its 4 bright points blazing like celestial beacons against the velvet blackness of space. For thousands of years, these exact stars have guided travelers and safely watched over the First Nations people who walk these very ridges. And looking up at them now, you feel a deep, comforting sense of continuity and belonging. The sheer density of the Milky Way, sprawling like a glowing river of silver dust across the heavens, reminds you of the infinite, quiet majesty of the universe, a magnificent realization that makes all worldly worries feel completely insignificant. As the deep night fully takes hold, the nocturnal life of the mountain begins its slow, subtle symphony. The faint, rhythmic rustle of leaves suggests the hidden movement of a possum in the branches above, while the occasional, distant call of a night bird echoes softly across the dark gorge. Yet, these gentle sounds only serve to deepen the profound, underlying silence of the landscape, a thick, insulated quiet that wraps around you like a heavy, protective blanket. You take a slow, deep breath, drawing the pure, cold mountain air into your lungs. And as you exhale, you feel the final, lingering knots of physical tension melting away from your muscles, sinking harmlessly into the cool sandstone beneath you. You are completely safe here, held securely on this high, ancient altar of stone, beneath the watchful, eternal gaze of the southern stars. Our long journey across this vast, beautiful continent has finally brought us to this perfect point of absolute stillness, a place where the earth meets the sky and time seems to beautifully stand still. The gentle, rhythmic breathing of the sleeping forest below synchronizes flawlessly with your own slow, steady pulse, creating a deep, resonant harmony that lulls your mind into a state of total, unwavering peace. As the Southern Cross climbs higher, tracing its ancient, silent arc across the dark sky, you allow the heavy, comforting gravity of the mountain to pull your consciousness down into a warm, deeply relaxed state. Surrounded by the profound beauty of the Australian night, you finally surrender to the gentle, irresistible tide of exhaustion, drifting effortlessly away into a long, restorative, and perfectly dreamless sleep.